What did you tell my son to make him bring a homeless man into my house?
I have two problems. One, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, and two, I don't know who you are.
One of the biggest challenges we've recently had in language learning and education as a whole is the relationship between parents and teachers. Based on the colleagues I talked to in my own experience, I can say that there's a lot of finger pointing at teachers, especially language teachers. And my assumption is that parents are not some evil beings that just want to make our lives harder. I believe that this is due to a lack of understanding. And in this video, I'd like to bridge the gap between foreign language teachers and parents. After watching this video, you'll be better suited to support your children in language learning, and if you don't have children, you may still want to continue watching because some of the stuff we'll be talking about here will be relevant to you regardless. I've divided this video into 5 misconceptions that parents often have about language learning. The first misconception is that every English level takes a year or an equal amount of time to go through. Now, this is a particularly harmful statement because every learner needs a different amount of time to go to the next level. Getting to the next level, on average, might take anywhere from 200 hours to 400 hours of guided learning. Now, what is guided learning? Guided learning is learning with a teacher, so these are hours within the classroom. Bear in mind that this does not account for the work you have to do as a learner yourself. Those hours depend on the language you are learning. Obviously, you will need a longer period of time to learn Chinese than, say, English or Spanish. If you want to speed up the language learning process a bit, you might want to watch my other video on how to be better at learning English. So if your child has a qualified teacher with years of experience, just let them do their job, support your child, and lift the pressure off both of them. Misconception number 2. Language learning is fully understood by experts. The truth is, nobody really knows for sure how language learning happens. Recent research points to language learning being very random. Language is a living thing, and attempting to control it is simply naive. I've experienced this myself. I was teaching 10-year-olds present simple and present continuous, your standard stuff. And guess what? They still don't use those tenses properly. But we were learning through a game, and one of the kids really wanted to tell me about what he did on the weekend. And you know what? He used the past simple. More so, he did it accurately without making any mistakes, even though he hadn't been taught past simple in the past. But he was still making mistakes with present simple and present continuous. What do you know? So what should this mean for you as a parent? Well, don't be angry with the teacher of your child. If the child has done present simple 10 times already, but still doesn't get it, still doesn't use it accurately, nobody really controls it, and more repetition does not mean more learning. Misconception number 3. Grammar is the most important thing to learn and should be learned first. While true that grammar is important for any competent speaker that is aiming to master a language, it should not be anybody's primary focus. Being accurate, so using grammar correctly, being grammatically correct, actually comes last in language learning. And also, there is no evidence to support the idea that explicit grammar knowledge will help the acquisition process and will help you become grammatically accurate when speaking. There's also a new perspective that focusing on grammar at all is actually affecting language learning negatively. If you're interested in learning more about that, I will leave a reference in the description. Misconception number 4. The younger they learn a language, the better. Actually, the opposite is true. Older students are generally better at language learning, and there is substantial evidence to support this claim. Broadly speaking, the only thing young learners are superior at is pronunciation. As we age, it becomes more difficult for us to reproduce specific sounds of a language due to biological limitations.
In the beginning, yeah, in the beginning.
Children don't have this limitation because their speech is yet to have formed. So for you as a parent, unless you really want your child to have a native-like pronunciation, maybe don't put so much pressure on these little kids. Last but not least, misconception number 5. Extra classes at a language school are enough to master a language. This may hold true for some language learners, but the sad truth is most language learners will fail to go higher than B1 or B2. This happens because of the plateau phenomenon in language learning. If you want to know more about it, see my previous video. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. In the comments, leave what you would like me to cover in the next ones. Subscribe and tell a friend. My name's Eryk, and this channel is to pique interest and educate.